Hey, what's up, Steven Stone? So, I'm sorry if there's a lot of background noise. I have to sit like right in front of the AC because it is hot. So we're going to be talking about the recall. We're going to be talking about conflict of interest. What does that mean for the governor? What does that mean for the mayor and the city council? Yes, we have an election tomorrow. It is really important that you are informed. Be an informed voter. Who are you supporting? What are you supporting? Very important. Our country is crazy town right now, okay? There's a whole lot of weird things going on. I got some videos coming out today. It's going to be spicy. The minor, Bridget Langston of Kingsman, writes, it says, Governor Ducey sits on the board of TGen. TGen is an Arizona-based research company, very invested in research, testing, and vaccine for the Rona. Testing and a vaccine from which Ducey could in some way benefit. That could be a problem. I mean, is he locking us down to make a buck? To then, like, is he then going to say, oh, you have to have vaccines? Is that going to be next? I don't know. This is why we need to hold these people accountable, okay? Especially these days. It's crazy out there. So it then goes on to say that Ducey's emergency executive orders and closure mandates are indefinite. That's scary. For a virus that is affecting a fraction of 1% of the state. This is not making sense. This is not just here in the state. This is nationally. This is globally. There's a thing going on, and it's crazy. Okay, this isn't tinfoil hat anymore. This is like really happening. Okay, it goes on to say, and he of course then passes his orders down to all of his subordinate mayors who have all been too willing to follow his baseless orders, subsequently doing their part in destroying their own towns and cities. Do you see where I'm going with this? It finishes up by saying, it is past time the Attorney General investigates Ducey abusing his position of power to benefit from his indefinite emergency orders and research his bias to keep Arizona held hostage for potential personal and or financial gain. Yeah. Okay. So what does that mean? We have a Facebook group, and in the Facebook group, we get into some arguments where most of the time people are very quick to correct me, which is fine because I like the truth. I like to be informed. I think being informed, I'm a truth seeker, searcher. I'm a truthivore. I'm claiming that. Hashtag truthivore. I want to know. So if I'm wrong, correct me. I'd like accurate information, right? Accurate knowledge. I was told to go do your research. Go to legalleagueaz.org. Do your research. So I did my research. Oh, I did. Actually, a friend of mine brought this to my attention. So anyway, she said, check this out. So I was like, okay, check this out. And it's conflict of interest laws on leagueaz.org. Okay. I'm not going to go through this because it's like wordy AF. I'm not doing it. Basically, it outlines the difference between a substantial interest and a remote interest, and it doesn't matter whether you're the business owner or your spouse is the business owner or your in-law or your kid or whatever. If you seek to have a substantial interest, it can be a conflict. For example, here, someone brought up that the mayor owns a business in town, and then the mayor's defenders were like, no, he doesn't own the business. His wife owns the business. And then I'm like, doesn't matter, because according to the conflict of interest laws, it could be a relative. If you stand to gain something substantial from that, it could be a conflict when you're making decisions like they do in the city government. Okay, so anyone on the city council, the mayor, that's my question. Is there a conflict of interest here? Should they be excusing themselves from certain decision making? What needs to happen here? So this is probably a question for the city attorney. I'm curious to know what the answer is. How does this play out? In the case of the governor, we don't have a lieutenant governor here in Arizona. I wish we did. In the case of the governor, if the governor had to excuse himself from something because of conflict of interest, the lieutenant governor would then do the governing. Again, in the recall. So if the governor is recalled, the lieutenant governor would now be the governor. But we don't have a lieutenant governor. So in this case, if their recall is successful, we would have to have a special election. Back to local. That's my question. Is there a conflict of interest if the mayor's wife or a council member spouse owns a business in town? Should they be excusing themselves from certain activities as it pertains to their public office? The other part of this comes in, which was a valid question raised by a few people in the Facebook group, and they were asking about whether Sherry Rudd, who is a candidate for mayor, owns the mustachery, because in several legal papers and official kind of documents, it lists her as an owner of the mustachery. Well, that could create a conflict of interest, and I think that's why that's come up in question. It's not just, so she's like, no, I'm not the owner, and then she's like, my husband's the owner. Well, according to the conflict of interest laws, it still can be a problem. Okay. Not as much as the people sitting already on the council. Like, should they have been excusing themselves this whole time from making certain decisions? I don't know. And I believe that is all for conflict of interest and the recall. Please make sure you're informed. Please make sure you vote tomorrow. If you're interested in signing the petition to recall the governor, go to the Saloon Theater this Thursday from 5 to 7, and someone will be there collecting signatures for the petition. I love you. Have a wonderful day. I got more videos coming. It's spicy. I love you. Bye.